Theo.
We failed.
Yeah, seriously.
All right, welcome everybody to Maven Monday, episode 6, Return of the RWA.
Welcome, everyone.
Welcome everybody. We do this every Monday. We get together at 5 p.m. UTC and we hang out and we talk about all the different technology and cool things going on with Maven, and then also, about trending topics and everything going on, which is very obviously Mavryk, the Mavryk network, and the blockchain is
Wait,
coming soon.
we're trending?
Oh, we are trending.
Oh, wow.
I mean, like
Good to know.
Maverick, B Maverick comes right. You type in hashtag B and B Maverick's right there. I mean, maybe.
I love it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We're
Love it.
getting up there. So yeah, and another kind of trending topic in the crypto space is just the topic of RWAs in general. So we've been talking about that quite a bit as well, trying to break it down, educate everybody. So welcome. This Monday space is a little bit more of an open platform. So if you guys want to come up, talk, feel free to send in requests, ask us some questions if you have questions. Yeah, and with that being said, we'll kind of just get right into it. So welcome, my name is Theo Wayne. I'm the community manager of Maven Finance and the Mavryk blockchain. And with me is Sam Morrow, the co-founder of both Maven and Mavryk blockchain. So welcome.
Hey, little correction there, Theo. I'm a co-founder of Mavryk Network. I'm speaking from my
Let's
Mavryk
go.
Network account right now. And I was a lead software engineer and developer and product manager on Maven Finance. I joined that after its inception already. This we incepted together with Alex and a few other co-founders.
Oh, right on. So tell us about the early days of Maven. So why don't you break that down for us and all the new listeners that we have here today?
Oh, so early days of Maven. It was me and Alex uh, in the Israeli branch offices in Tel Aviv of a different blockchain, sitting there working on Maven, getting help from the head of that branch, building it. A lot of ideation. It took a long time to get to the Maven Finance that it is now. Is not the Maven Finance that it was at the start. It was actually a way smaller platform. And then as we built it out, we just realized like, oh, we need to have this type of mechanism in governance itself outside of our normal governance. Okay, we need to have these controls in case there's a hack. We need to do this, X, Y, and Z, and all this. Like a big part of that came out of that whole process of ideation was the break glass system on Maven Finance. Like we didn't have that originally, and then we realized that it's something that would be needed itself. And then we eventually actually got to we originally had a US what's called USDM. It was a algorithmic stablecoin, but at one point algorithmic stablecoins weren't so trusted by the whole crypto market. If you guys remember Terra Luna, so we had to switch to a normal stablecoins. That worked fine. It was great to bring much more liquidity. And we kind of just ended up where we built out the whole platform. And it's now on GhostNet. If you guys haven't tried it out, you guys should definitely go try it out. It's on ghostnet.mavenfinance.io.
And you kind of mentioned it when you said Luna, but just to be clear, how long ago, how long have you guys been, or I should say we have been working on Maven? Like it came out a couple years ago, right? If time is flying by. How long has Maven been established?
Maven's been on GhostNet for about a year already on testnet. And it was done a couple months before that, like fully the whole platform, the original roadmap for it was done. And then we just got to a point where like we were hitting the bear market and we can't launch now because it's just suicide to do that, to destroy the project. So just build out the rest of it. But I've been working on Maven since like 2021, I think.
Yeah, so I just wanted to kind of put that out there for everybody. Maven has been here for a while. They've been in my old spaces. Alex used to join with the Maven account at least 2 years ago. We've been going on talking spaces and doing spaces together. So Maven is really cool, and it has a lot of technology, and the developers and Sam have worked really, really hard on it. And then later down the line, kind of came the idea of the Mavryk blockchain. So you want to tell us a little bit about that?
I'm not going to get into a lot of the specifics there for a variety of reasons. But I will say this. We looked around at the space and we have a vision for how Maverick Network has a vision for how blockchain economies should be and how they should be run. And we wanted to curate a user experience that fits retail users also, not just crypto degens like all of us here. I love degenning, it's great, but also there needs to be an area for maturity and to reach retail users. And we couldn't find a chain or an L2 even that really fit what we wanted. So we looked around at a lot of different chains and we couldn't find really what we wanted and what fit our vision. So then it came on the idea, like, why don't we just do our own one? Curate the experience that we want from the beginning, from the Genesis block. Before that, have everything be the user experience that we would want. We know everyone's going to come along and build a block explorer, build another wallet, all of that will fit their needs, that will fit the needs of the average crypto degen. But if we don't build it the way that retail users need it, then it's going to take a while to get built. So why not build that from the get-go?
Let's go. And I'm really excited to be a part of the Maverick journey. And everybody down below, I know I see a lot of familiar names coming from Saturday's AMA and similar. And I see a lot of people from the Discord. So welcome. And yeah, if you guys have any questions as we're doing this, please feel free to come up. Leave them down below. We'll also answer them down below as well. And like I said earlier, it's more of an open platform, the Monday show. It's more of like hang out, get to know us, and yeah. So feel free. Don't be shy. It's not such a big deal. But Maven, getting back to Maven. So Maven is mainly a lending and borrowing platform. Is that fair to say, Sam?
Yeah. Okay. So Maven, it's the core income for the DAO. It's a DAO-run banking ecosystem, as we like to call it. The core product of it that brings in income is the peer-to-peer lending, lending of stablecoins. One second.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, the lending of stablecoins.
The lending of stablecoins. Sorry. Someone just came up to me and asked me something. Okay, lending of stablecoins. We're going to be starting with the major ones that there are, and you putting up collateral using multi-collateral vaults. Okay, you can deposit several types of collateral into it and use that as collateral for you to borrow stablecoins that are put by other depositors of the platform of Maven itself. When we built this, we had the idea for multi-collateral vaults. We actually had the idea of using RWAs as that collateral because it would be the possibilities of being able to use a tokenized real-world asset as your collateral, and that asset itself earns yield, which then pays back into the vault, and is also a more stable asset, so it doesn't have as many black swan events as normal crypto assets do. That kind of the possibilities of that are insane, and that's like what we originally had in mind with these multi-collateral vaults. So lending and peer-to-peer lending is the core income of the DAO itself, but there's also staking, there are farms, there's governance. Governance reaches into three different areas. One, satellite governance, core governance, threshold governance. Those themselves are satellites work with the threshold governance, which is run by the Maverick Council, the Maven Council. Those are elected by the DAO members and the satellites to run the day-to-day. Say the DAO has a bunch of USDT in its treasury and wants to invest in another project or buy real-world assets for its treasury. The council would vote on that to approve the transfer of funds, and the satellites would then go and vote on that again, and just to give their approval. There's also core governance. Core governance is to actually make changes and updates to the DAO. If you look into the docs of Maven Finance, you'll see that almost every single function in the DAO is changeable through governance. You can inject full Lambda bytes of code into functions and change how the functions run. So you're basically able to edit every parameter of the DAO itself, all the way from its interest rate of the lending to the amount of seats on the council. Whatever it is, there's a way to change it. Even to literally to the length of the name that's allowed on the different vaults. Even that's changeable. Like we go down to the tiny parts that aren't even important at that point. Yeah, that's
Well,
that. We also have another function of the DAO. This is actually important, which
go ahead.
goes with which pairs with the lending is our satellite node and oracle system. So lending, as if you don't know, lending in DeFi usually runs off price oracles. Okay, outside of dexes and so on. But when you're using Aave or other such DeFi platforms, they use price oracles a lot. So we built in through our satellite nodes that do governance, that vote on governance and all that. They also sign the price feeds for the Maven oracles. Right now on our Ghostnet, you can see that there are a few oracles live. Those are all run by satellites that we have running at the moment. They pull the data from the different APIs, write that onto the chain. They are then reimbursed for the costs of the transaction fees of writing that data to the chain from the validator that's running by the DAO that earns from staked MVRK in the DAO, and that produces the returns to then repay the oracles for signing all the price feeds and bringing the oracles on chain to be used in our lending itself. On top of that, the satellites that are oracles are also rewarded through the SMVN of the platform. On top of that, we have staking, as most platforms do. If you stake, you earn a share of the rewards that are paid back to the DAO. You also earn when people decide to exit, to unstake from the DAO. There's an exit fee. You earn from that. There's a few other things also that I don't want to spill all the beans just now for you guys.
Perfect. I was going to ask about the oracles and the satellites, so thank you. And then that actually, if anybody has any questions, we have been doing this is episode 6. We've been doing threads and spaces breaking down, each portion of the platform, right? Because there is a lot to it. So if you have any questions about any of that stuff, please come up, because if not, we will keep talking about it more and more in these spaces and on Twitter and in the Discord as we go on. But to get to the title of the space and the conversation that has been around right now. So Sam, tell us, what is Maven's involvement in the RWA scene?
So Maven Finance was, when we came up with it, as I said earlier, we came up with the idea of using multi-collateral vaults, was to utilize it to take loans against real-world assets that are tokenized on chain, like a piece of apartment that you own, or a tokenized share of an apartment of a hotel that pays yield, that kind of thing. We also want to use Maven. Maven will be used as will launch as a flagship dApp on Mavryk Network to kind of jumpstart the DeFi scene there as well, to jumpstart also integration of RWAs and everyone will look to Maven to see how RWAs should be implemented and should be used in DeFi. When you implement RWAs in DeFi, there's a few changes that will need to happen for our vaults, which we already have done. Vaults themselves, like over time, currently how DeFi usually works when you're borrowing is that you just build up interest over time, and then you eventually have to pay it all back. There is no monthly payments that you have to make. With RWAs, you'll have to make monthly payments, because when you're borrowing from a pool that is backed by collateral of RWAs, is because you have those RWAs themselves that you're borrowing against are ones that you have to that have yield, and they also usually require payments to be made on them. Like, let's say you have a mortgage on an RWA, you have to pay that mortgage. Then that, or you have you borrowed against it. You borrowed against a house. You borrowed against some asset in the real world. That kind of thing. So RWAs, we want to use Maven to, as I said, to kind of lead the charge with that in DeFi, and hopefully many other platforms will be joining.
Awesome. And let's see, is he Breeze Blocks is trying to come up, but I don't think it's letting him. Oh, is he
No,
here?
I think it worked.
It's oh wow, it was struggling on my screen, man. You were bouncing back and forth like it didn't know what to do.
Yeah, it's because I'm walking around work and I lost Wi-Fi. But yeah, I'm here. I had a question when it's my turn.
Oh, it's your turn, man. Welcome, dude.
Go
We
for
missed
it. Go
you.
for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've had you on the space. What's with this? You don't like us anymore?
Exactly. Yes.
I knew it. Theo, kick him out.
I don't until. Just kidding. But I actually did have a question. So curious is more of like a request, if possible. It's just a luxury, but shit. Down the road, it'd be cool in your roadmap if you had some kind of like integration of maybe in a data availability layer like Arweave, you know, so I can actually store my artwork, the visual portion of my artwork on chain rather than just IPFS. So yeah, I mean, just a thought if you consider it down the road. Much appreciated ahead of time.
It's something that we're talking about.
Oh man! All right,
we're talking about it. We can't give a clear answer on that yet.
That's all right. Cool. Appreciate it.
No, I mean, no, we appreciate you, man, because you were the first person to tell me about Arweave, and it's cool to have options. And yeah, it's definitely something like, you know, IPFS is great, right? And it's going to be super great, like in the future as well. Say we do get on other planets, interplanetary file system, right? It's going to be necessary. But having options and alternatives, that it was amazing and something I hadn't considered until I met until you brought it up, Breezeblock. So we appreciate you for that.
Yeah, I mean, it is great, and you know, it does what it needs to do. But yeah, that long-term storage as data increases, and you know, where's it all going to go? Eventually, shit will be purged that haven't been accessed for a while. So yeah, just, you know, extra layer of redundancy. But yeah, it's all good. We'll get there one day.
Yeah, for sure. I think the services of these kind of data availability layers are extremely promising and will bring a lot to the blockchain ecosystem as a whole. I think there is a way to go with it and really bring everything into more mature and retail-ready products. But I am actually extremely interested in being able to store a dynamic website on a data availability layer, like storing the website itself there, and then you can fill it with code from contracts and so on. That would be very interesting to see.
I think it's already possible. It's just on a different protocol for sure.
I've seen it. I've seen it on different protocols. I just haven't found it to the terms that I like.
So one of the questions, Crypt King, we'll get Crypt King up here, but for all the listeners down below, one of the questions in the Commonwealth quests was, you know, what would you like to see built on Mavryk, right? And Breeze just gave a great example of that. He wants Arweave, right? And so if you guys want to come up and say that, you know, ask us or have any suggestions that you want to tell us as well, well, that's what we're here for. Definitely feel free to send in a request. And if you don't know what IPFS is or Arweave is, these are storage locations. We're talking about NFTs. basically at this point to cut right to the chase, right? And where are these stored, and how safe and secure is this storage? So that's what that conversation was. And yeah, we have Emily coming up as well. Awesome. Emily runs an amazing space that I'll be at later tonight. So let's get her up as well. Crypt King, welcome. I was wondering if it was going to let you up.
Hey, what's up, man? How's everybody going? What are y'all up to? What's the new news? Like, what's the updates?
Welcome.
Where are we at this moment?
In what sense? In Maven Finance?
I don't know.
Going
Like,
good. It's
it's Monday. Do you
It's
have
Maven
an update?
Monday, man. Welcome. Yeah, we're all just
Maven
waking
Monday,
up, right?
I'm still trying to catch up with time lag. Like, I'm waking up at 11 every day instead of 9. Like,
all right. Let's see. Bitcoin reached a new all-time high, guys. Everyone, applaud that. Let's see what happens with it now. Maven's good. We're working on some more ideas on how to expand it, a better roadmap for it as well. What we really want the future of it to be and how for it to shape DeFi on Mavryk Network itself. I'm not going to share those with everyone here. Feels like giving away too much this time. I know you guys all would rather wait around and listen for that alpha. And Mavryk Network's good, dude. Just building away. Alex just got back from his trip around the U.S., talking with some very, very important, interesting individuals. I'll leave it at that. And it's going good. Going great, actually.
Awesome. And Emily, welcome to the stage. I'm excited for your space later tonight. Nerding out. So welcome, Emily.
Thank you. Hey, Theo, Crypt King, what's up?
Welcome.
Yeah, hi, thank you. I wanted to come up because I guess I got curious and I don't have a specific question, sorry. Sometimes I say weird things in English, but don't mind me. I want to know, I guess, more about Mavryk or Maven Finance. Like, you said something that it's like, well, degens are welcome. You build the blockchain to fit your needs better. But I guess I'm gonna ask once more, like, what's the purpose for Maven Finance? Like, what do you guys want to do? Like, who's it for? What's going to be on it? Is it a marketplace? Like,
okay,
I'm curious.
Let's see if you got this.
Yeah, no, it's a good question. As someone who's new and just joining, which a lot of people down below are. So really, the big focus of both these things. So obviously, me, Sam, and Alex, the founder, we're the same three people behind. There's more people. There's teams, but the people you're speaking to, the three of us, we work on both. So it does get a little confusing. But so the overall goal of both is RWAs, real world assets, and really bringing those into fruition in a proper way, in a secure way, and also giving like tools and technology to people to do things with these RWAs, if that makes sense. And a very simple answer to sum up everything Sam's, I think, said so far.
Yeah. Just to make sure that the separation is clear, because I've seen a few different people saying this, Mavryk Network is its own layer 1 blockchain. Maven Finance is a decentralized application, a DApp, that is a DAO-run banking ecosystem that will be launching on Mavryk Network. So it is a DApp on top of the Mavryk Network blockchain.
And to go ahead, Emily. Go ahead.
No, I'm intrigued, but with Serena, with the emojis, I would love for her to come. And whenever you see a thumb down, you're like, what's going on?
Oh, it could have been. I just say,
I
it could have been a slip. I welcome everybody to come up. If they want to speak, big deal. But yeah, if you have questions about any of this stuff, yeah, please come up. And RWA,
or just wanna throw out thumbs down there, and just throw off everyone from the space. Then yeah, you should come up also and explain yourself.
Absolutely. So, Theo, if you don't Man, I'm totally in host space. Sorry, y'all. I have
It's
questions.
okay. I'm sorry. It's okay.
So, you okay? Here's why I'm intrigued, and I'm guessing behind the Maverick logo, it's Alex, right? And then there's Sam.
No,
Okay.
so yeah, right now we're speaking to Sam. Alex is he's dealing with jet lag probably.
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, this is Sam behind the Maverick Network logo.
Okay. All right. Well, nice
Yeah.
meeting you. So, I'm intrigued because I've met Theo. He's hung out in my space. He's coasted. He's super cool, and
Oh,
Theo.
you've
You've
had to
told
deal with
me
him a
like,
while? I'm sorry for you.
huh?
You've had to deal with him a while? I'm sorry for you. Oh, there's a lot to deal
Gone
with.
well. It's gone well. It's gone well. It's fine. It's fine. Lo, but like he told me like we had a spake with we talked about punk, right? And basically again it come up like DeFi is the new punk. And it seems that you guys have similar value. Am I catching this like, properly? Serena, come up here.
Yeah. I mean, I would say we're pretty punk. Yeah, it's in the name, right? Maverick.
What do you mean by
Huh?
similar? You said similar value. What do you mean by that?
Okay, what do I mean by that? I think it's more something that I picked up than more than something that you said. It seems as if now you talked about the degen space. You talked about but you want something that is still professional with also knowing what TO is standing for. I don't know, I'm picking up that you guys just want to do something that's right, but that allows people to have assets and to really do I don't know, to really gain money and do things right. Like you guys want to
Yeah.
do things by the book, and that's in that sense. I'm
So
getting the similar
I,
value of thing.
I think one of the examples that really for me defines what we are trying to do is buying an apartment. Nowadays, you have to have a big down payment. Depending on where you are in the world, some places it's lower, some places it's even 30% down payment with the skyrocketing cost of housing. And then you borrow the rest, take a mortgage of the rest, and then you have massive payments that will just balloon given the interest rates. That the down payment itself is a lot to save up for. If you look at this economy, who is able to save that up? Most people that are able to save that up usually have help from their parents. Like it's not a given thing that people are just gonna be able to save up for the down payment on an apartment. But if you put that money in a savings account and you're letting it accrue by the bank, you're not making that much either on that. Like you're making what 4 or 5% maximum yield. So imagine if you're able to buy $50 at a time of a share of an apartment building or a hotel, whatever it is. If you're able to do that, you're able to actually grow your wealth much faster because those things have yield that's higher than that 4% usually. So you're able to grow your wealth faster. You're able to diversify into more things. Your money's not just going to be sitting in the bank account. Alex wants to speak, so we should let him speak also. But it's like you're able to take your savings and do more with it. If that makes any sense. Can we get Alex up here? Yeah.
Go ahead, Alex. Welcome to the stage. And if everybody is wondering, this is Alex. This is our founder right here.
Hey everyone. Literally just got off a flight, got home, showered, ate something with the family, and joined the space. I wanted to add on, like Sam nailed it, and I wanted to add on a little bit more to what he said, which is, you put your money into a savings account. Right now, you're getting 5%, let's say, because interest rates are super high. But for since 2008, the financial crisis, interest rates have been super low. So you weren't getting that 5% in the bank earlier. So additionally, on top of the yield that you get, let's say you buy $100 worth of tokenized real estate or $1,000 worth of tokenized real estate, and you make 7 to 9%. It all depends on the type of asset it is. Not only do you get that dividend yield that is paid to you, the rent that is essentially paid to you, but then you can also take that asset, borrow against it using DeFi, go buy more tokenized real world assets. That's like leveraging real estate. And there's healthy debt and unhealthy debt, but besides for the ability to leverage there, you can earn that 7.5, 8% yield, but that's only on the cash on cash return that you're earning. There's also the real estate itself that goes up in price. So you bought $1,000 worth of real estate, and by the end of the year, it paid you $70 in dividends. But then also that $1,000 worth of real estate might be worth $1,050. So it's $1,050 worth of real estate plus the 70. So there are multiple different ways that you can leverage and compound and enhance and increase your yields and returns by using tokenized real estate on chain. And then to further add to that is when you put your money into the bank is the one going out there and making money on your money. When you put money into tokenized real world assets, you're the one in control of making money on your money. And that's something that the majority of people in the world, like beyond the education that they don't have, unfortunately, because the system's broken to teach people this, they don't have the access to do so either.
Man, I'm going to yield the floor to Serena in a bit, but I love this. I love this a lot. To me, it sounds new and fresh. I haven't heard, it's blockchain with a purpose, basically, like, as you said. So now I'm getting, yes, degen, if you would. We welcome it. It's like, it's the fun of it, right? Like, it's like you're not taking anything away from the space, but you are, I don't know, to me, who's not a degen, I'm connecting with purpose. I would be like, man, I want to get behind this. Like, I want to support this. This is super, super fun. So I would love to know more.
Yeah, as a homeowner, I could go on all day about this, and it's crazy dealing with like loans and trying to buy land and real estate. I just went through this recently. I'm only 30, so it and even 5 years ago when I bought my house, it was considerably easier than it is today.
Only you youngin.
Yeah, it's considered, but even then, 5 years ago, it was still considerably cheaper and easier than it is just today. You know what I mean? It's incredibly hard. So, I could definitely talk about this all day. And rent to own or buy to own. These are just the things that we need to get established if we're ever going to get anywhere as a society. But that being said, yeah, Serena, welcome to the stage. Go ahead. You have the stage.
Serena,
Hello.
why the thumbs
Hello,
down?
everyone.
Why the thumbs down?
I am so
what happened
sorry
there?
for the thumbs down. That was a literal slip of the
I
thumb.
knew it. I knew it was. I knew it was a slip. I told him not to worry. He said,
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah. So sorry about
Now
that.
that
But
she's under the
yes,
spotlight, she's saying
I
it's an accident.
I didn't even intend to speak, but yeah, I just wanted to clear that up. Literal slip of the thumb. Thank you, Alex, for adding that extra information before I spoke. And that is actually the reason why I really love and follow Mavryk, because I'm always looking for something to diversify my investments. And I'm a big fan of Robert Kiyosaki's game Cash Flow Quadrant. And I feel like with Mavryk, I'll be able to actually play that game in real life with real estate and getting, the access like you talked about in your Discord group, getting the access that would be otherwise inaccessible to a larger majority of people. So I'm very, very grateful to be part of the Mavryk movement. Thank you all.
I think, well, first off, you nailed it there. I mean, like, totally right. This passive cash flow you have on the side, it pays you, and you can, you've got income that I don't want to say you don't have to work for it, because you have to manage it, you have to be smart, you have to do your due diligence and research, but you earn it without you're not earning based on your hours of work that you put out, and that's very important. But you nailed something there that I think we should use, Theo. Maverick movement. Like Maverick missions, be Maverick movement. I love it.
Ooh, that's nice.
We are definitely right in the middle of the Maverick movement. Yeah.
It's good.
And so the ultimate question here, Alex, and we keep asking it, right? And you're going to keep getting asked it. So we might as well just say it in every space. When launch? When launch? Let's go. When launch?
We keep getting asked it, of course. We're working on a few things, and that was part of this trip that I spent practically 2 weeks in like 6 cities. And part of it was on that go-to-market launch and strategy and partners for it. I can say this, at first we're going to be launching a regular testnet so that people can play with the system and understand it and get used to the look and feel of the wallet and Explorer, etc. And then we're going to have an incentivized testnet where, depending on the actions that you take on the testnet, you will earn tokens. I think we're going to be using NFTs that represent real Maverick tokens that you'll be earning once the network goes live. So if you're running a validator on the Maverick network, if you're providing yield to a lending app, if you're borrowing, if you're doing transactions, like the more and more that you become accustomed to the network and how it works and transactions and the ecosystem, you'll be earning these what's called, like, it's an incentivized testnet. So it's kind of like a paid beta. And then we're going to go live. And we want to go live not just with a blockchain. Everybody rebuilds the blockchain wheel and they're like, we changed one thing and we're going to take it live. But what we want to do is make sure that we've got an ecosystem of apps and also an ecosystem of real world assets that can be available for people to purchase and, stake or take or just hold and get yield from, or swap or borrow, lend, etc. So that's that. We have a few critical pieces left on the business end before going live, but right now we've already got the testnet in house. So we will be releasing a timeline somewhat soon.
Let's go. And then so I hope Crew King, welcome, Breezebox, welcome, Emily, welcome, Serena, welcome. Thank you guys for being here. And we probably have 20-ish minutes left, so I just want to make sure everybody is clear on what an RWA is, right? And that is basically a real world asset. That's what it stands for. And we've defined this in every space so far too, but I think it's important to just keep doing that, because there is a lot of different definitions out kind of trying to be established, right, Alex? In the space, I would say
there is
right
something that you guys should all be aware of in the definitions here. Real world assets are assets that are not native to the digital blockchain. They are in your real life. Their form on the blockchain is the tokenized real world asset. So a house is a real world asset, but the shares of it, the ownership of it, is tokenized on chain, is the tokenized real world asset.
Yes, which is very different from, say, like an NFT, because an NFT could be really anything. It's such a complex technology at this point, and there might be some cohesion between the two, but they are two completely different things. And
So,
go ahead, Chris.
with that being
Welcome.
said, with that being said, do you foresee that NFTs and RWAs rest in the same wallet, or do you think that they'll have separate wallets for these different type? Because one's supposed non-security, one's security. Like, do you think they'll be sitting in same wallets or separate wallets?
That's an amazing question, actually. Alex, you got something for that?
I do, but my dog is currently literally crying like crazy. I just came home after being away for 2 weeks.
Puppy.
Need some attention. Give him some attention.
I'm trying, but the more I rub her head, the more she keeps crying. So my wife just literally picked her up and carried her away so I could respond. So we're building a Maverick wallet, which it essentially holds, just like every wallet, or even let's say an account, will hold your tokens, your NFT tokens, your and your RWA tokens. Specifically, to hold RWA tokens, you'll have to use a Maverick Pro wallet, which is you have to go through verification, KYC. It's opt-in, obviously, just as we've been saying. RWAs are securities. You do have to follow legal law and compliance. But you will have a tab switcher that you can switch between all your tokens, DeFi, NFT, or not DeFi. Sam knows the exact details, but you'll be able to circulate between them and check them. We've really rebuilt a wallet experience in that regard. but it all rests in that same wallet. On the flip side, with some of the people that we are going to be issuing NFTs with, because we're helping onboard these traditional finance players into the space, you will be able to log in just to their website have an account, and you will have a non-custodial wallet in your account. So most mainstream users doing that won't notice that they are even using a wallet, but it is a crypto wallet at the end of the day. Everything we're building is non-custodial. Everything from Maven Finance to Mavryk Network to RWAs to RWAs. We have an RWA bulletin board exchange, kind of like an OTC. Then there's going to be a DEX. Everything's going to be non-custodial. We are using blockchain to facilitate this financial ecosystem. Not only does it help in terms of regulation, but it also helps in terms of the security that users will have over their own assets and their ability to control their financial futures.
Yeah, I used a new hashtag the other day, hashtag RWAtech, because that's really what I would say our primary focus is. Not even just real world assets themselves. Yes, we're drooling over hotels and all sorts of stuff, but really our focus is the tech, right? That's what I would say our main primary focus is, and providing that tech to everybody, and making sure we all have this open financial opportunity, right? OpenFi.
Yeah, we've actually. I like to call it open finance because it's not exactly decentralized. With RWAs, there's always a super admin, just in case something goes like catastrophically wrong. That's a legal requirement in terms of like compliance. But I like to call this a world of open finance because today it's really closed. It's gate kept. Most people can't access most things. And then DeFi is absolutely remarkable, but because it doesn't have this bridge of compliance measures with traditional finance, it's stuck in this kind of like in a bubble. So what we want to do is take all the best of the DeFi world and then fuse it with all of the access and opportunity. There's trillions of dollars of global trade in traditional finance.
Can you touch on super admin? You said something I've never heard of. Like, what is that?
I don't know, Sam. If I'll start saying something. If you want to chime in, go ahead. Basically, every token and the token issuer has what's called a super admin that has certain rights over controls over the token. Let's say, for example, Crypt King, if you were given, I'm trying to make it personal or then put it onto you. If you were given shares of stock in Disney and you got a paper physical share certificate for 100 shares, now, God forbid your house burns down, you lose those paper shares. That doesn't mean that you've now lost your ownership of those shares of the Disney stock. In DeFi and in crypto, it does. In stock, and according to securities laws and all those different things, you have the share certificate to prove your ownership, but at the same time, the company keeps a cap table or share registry of all the different owners of the stock. So God forbid something happens, you can go to them and say, here's a police report, my house burned down, God forbid, or I lost the shares, I don't know where they are. And they can go and the issuing company can go and say, okay, Crypt King, you had 542 shares. We're going to nullify those shares and reissue you new shares so that you can have them. Now, you obviously don't want anybody to have access to be a super admin, and that's why it's a highly, highly controlled aspect of the token contract that we built. But you also have this, by the way, on USDC and USDT. You do have a super admin who can freeze. I'm not sure about the entry point parameters for those two tokens, but they can go in and freeze the transfer of your funds if you're a sanctioned individual. With securities, there's a little bit more access because you need to burn and reissue new tokens in case you lose them, or in case you're hacked, or in case you, God forbid, I don't know, your computer dies. But it's something that's highly restricted to the issuing company that's managing that security. So it's there for your protection, and it's also there for mostly for compliance.
So kind of like number one, OFAC compliance, and then number two, this is where we decouple like. So necessarily, if you lose your seed phrase, you're not going to lose your RWA share. It would still, the super admin would be able to help you. Am I getting that right?
Yes, in that case you will, but keep in mind that the DeFi tokens that you have, you won't be able to get. Those will be lost if you lose your seed phrase.
Got you. Yeah, of
Yeah,
course. Yep. I just was trying
it's
to think like,
specifically over each asset for
got you.
RWAs.
Like, so if I spent off a separate wallet for RWAs and only held those in there, and yeah, but no, the seed phrase would cover everything. So you're right. I'm just trying to think of like how, because I've heard a lot of people like kind of confusing these with non-fungibles, right? And so I'm trying to like in my head decouple.
Well, it's a different crypting. It's a different thing. Like there are,
of course,
what non-fungible and fungible tokens define a set of whether or not the token can be divided or not. Okay, that is separate from whether or not a token can have a super admin or able to recover it from a super admin or from the issuing authority, because it's one gives it like
It's like a double layer.
like,
It's almost like a double layer of
it's
security, right?
they're on
The
different
RWA,
levels
yeah.
of they're just on different like levels of features. One is on the base, like whether or not you're doing a token contract that can be divided or you want the tokens to be divisible, and one is where it isn't, but both can still have the super admin part to it.
Got you. No, I understand 100%. I'm just trying to like ingest this so I can teach it to others.
No, yeah, no, and I appreciate it because we obviously are trying to do the same, right? This is all very new for everybody. Let's be real, right? So yeah, it's just definitely a different thing. The fact that you can just, you lose your NFTs with when you lose a wallet, but you can get your RWAs back. There's a proof of purchase that is independent of the hash, like with an NFT, that is your that transaction, that hash, that's all you got. Which is great. It solves a lot of things, but it still didn't solve a lot of the bigger stuff. And I think this is what was holding back even video games and digital, just other digital products, like, and why they haven't really fully gotten into NFTs. I think this is the answer. They were waiting for RWAs. And Emily, I saw you had your hand up. Yeah, did you have a question? Did you want to jump in on this at all? Oh,
Hi. Yes.
hey.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's okay.
Yeah. I did. So my question was, it's been like you guys have explained it, but I'm still a little unclear on how it works. So let me see if I got it correctly. So basically, let's say that I want to, I don't know, save up. I'll use the apartment again. Let's say that I want to buy this apartment, and I want to basically multiply or accrue my down payment. Let's say I've managed to scrape together $1,000, baby. So if I place it or buy a token and do all the correct things with the wallet that I need to get, then I can let this amount of money go up in value and then cash in when I'm ready. Or the how and the logistic is a little confusing.
Okay, real estate in general appreciates over time, correct? So in general, that's the idea, that real estate appreciates over time. So you have that aspect of it where the tokens, the shares that you bought of that real estate, you bought it, the tokenized shares of that itself is, since it's a share of a piece of land, that itself is going up in value over time, kind of like stocks go up in value over time, right? So let's say you want to sell that, you would go to a marketplace that will be on chain, and you can sell it there. Its new value would be, we're working with having oracles to bring on the price of the real estate on chain and define the price for the shares themselves, those tokenized shares. Those would be brought on chain, so you could sell it on the marketplace. Alex, this is probably something to add here.
Oh yeah, definitely do. I mean, so you go in, you take your $1,000, you buy up $1,000 of a hotel token. Now that hotel token, there's two forms of value that will be there. And just to keep it simple, there's going to be the cash that it spins off for you, right? The dividend yields, and then there's going to be the value of the asset itself that, as Sam mentioned, is going up over time. So let's say you wait, just for the sake of being on a Twitter space, let's say you wait 1 year and the asset goes up 10%, and it paid you 8% in dividends. So that $1,000 asset is now worth $1,100, and you've also been paid $80 in dividends to your wallet. So you now have, you started out with 1,000, but now you have $1,180 total of value, $80 in stable coins, like US dollar tokens, and then $1,100 in the principal value of the hotel token that you bought. And you'll be able to take those hotel tokens and either stake them into a DEX to earn additional yield from the trading using your tokens in a market maker, or you'll be able to sell them in the DEX. You'll be able to put them in a vault on Maven and borrow against them. So let's say you have $1,000 worth of this is where it gets more complicated and you have to be strategic, but you put it into
It's
a
already
lending
complicated,
protocol.
sir.
Well, I mean, it's just basically you're taking a loan against your real estate, which is like a mortgage. Instead of getting the putting the down payment up front, you take the loan afterwards. So you have $1,000 worth of real estate tokens. You collateralize a vault. You pull out $500 as a loan. You go buy $500 more of real estate. Put that in the vault. Now you have $1,500 worth of real estate, but you have a mortgage payment. You can use your dividends to pay that off. And at the end of the year, instead of having $1,100 worth of real estate, you'll have you'll earn $150 instead. So you have 1,650.
Okay. All right. So that was a good example. So basically, the assets themselves, I guess that was a part that wasn't clear. Was it's things that you guys are providing. So I'm gonna buy this token from the hotel, but this hotel room, like it's you guys have a marketplace. I'm guessing. Am I making the? Is it right?
Yeah, so the Maverick network is the infrastructure layer, the blockchain that all of these tokens will live on. Think of the Maverick network as kind of like Mac OS. It is an operating system for you to launch applications on top of. The real world assets are applications on top of the blockchain. We're working with asset issuers.
There you go.
For them, we're providing the tech, and we're working with them to help them bring their hotels and multifamily housing and investments onto our blockchain for our community and users to buy.
Got it.
Yeah, and providing the tech for the public, right? So Sam went with houses, which was a good way to do it, right? So someone say I put my house up and I do it through an RWA method, and fractionalize it. Well, then theoretically, someone could buy a small piece of it and then continue to buy pieces of it as they make money over time, and then eventually own the house. And that's really not something you can do today. And that's a very simple example.
Yeah, that example has a few assumptions that no one else is going to buy the shares of that.
Oh, right. It's going to be, it would be. It's just like
just
a
to be
stock,
clear,
right?
Like,
yeah.
I don't want anyone to assume that like it's just going to sit there and wait for you to buy it.
No, hopefully not. Hopefully not.
Well, there's a few things, and like rent to earn is very different than buying an open asset that's open to the public. So in a rent to earn type of fashion using blockchain, it would basically be locked to that owner occupier. So you would probably, I mean, you might not occupy it, but you would be able to, rent to earn. But yet you would essentially live there, pay your rent, and a portion of your rent goes to buying the house. And so in that case of rent to earn, it would be a form of a contract only with you. Only every portion, let's say $100 every month, will go to buying up the fractionalized ownership of the apartment.
We said
and
simple
then those
examples, Alex. We said simple examples.
No, but that's perfect.
Well, Theo
that's
keeps on bringing up rent to earn, but it's a rent to earn is very different than an open asset on the market because it's specific to the owner occupier as opposed to the general public.
Right. Yeah, and this is technology, right? That we're building, and that was what I wanted to highlight is trying to make the common person's life easier, trying to open up opportunity anyway. And then we also have CB coming to the stage. Welcome, CB.
Well, Theo, one thing.
Go ahead, Alex.
CB, give me 1 second. You said that it's open to the public. All of these, all this tech that we're building out there for tokenized real world assets, marketplaces, DEXs, the RWA contract, that's going to be all open source. And we keep talking about the practical application of what we're building with the products that we're bringing on chain, but we're also going to be working with other dev teams and projects and startups to help them use our tech open source to have them now, like, you know, hey, look, you might live in Vietnam and you want to start a tokenization company. You've got access to those products. You can jumpstart your company by using this open source technology.
Also, I don't know, this is like way out there and I could be way off, but this could redefine also a little bit on timeshares. Like, could you securitize a whole thing and then, like, I don't know, I'm thinking like outside the box of like how this could build out, you know, like this could be some wild.
That's
Yeah,
actually, it's a good thought. I want you guys
just, it would really just digitize it. And you're just turning it digital at that point.
Make it real is what I was
also
gonna say.
With the digitizing, you get good accounting, so then you start to actually get value maybe for your investment instead of, you know, like in the past, it's just like throwing money away to a timeshare, you know.
Crypt King, I wanna kind of chime in and just and put something out there about like timeshares, because timeshares is essentially, when, for anybody who doesn't know out there, is that you've got a house in, I don't know, Hawaii, and instead of, you know, it's cost $100,000, and so instead of you buying it straight out, you and 4 random investors all put in $25,000, and you get a certain amount of time that you can stay there. So you've got access to this house. You're sharing the time of the asset. Fractionalized real estate is the next generation, or can be the next generation of timeshares, where I feel like timeshares is really an analog form of fractionalized real estate. But imagine, let's say and this is happening with the Aspen coin. It's a fractionalized ski resort in Aspen, Colorado, where you can actually use your tokens to pay for nights in the hotel. Now, I really do think that if you're doing a hotel token, if you own over a certain amount of the hotel, then you, like, as a percentage, then you should be able to get like free nights there. So, like, let's say you own 1% of the hotel, or whatever it is, 0.01% of the hotel, then you get, like, you know, for every 5 nights you stay, you get 2 nights free. Some sort of these deals, which kind of like makes it essentially is a programmable timeshare now. So I think the old way of timeshares might get replaced with this more digitized, capital efficient form of sharing an asset. But some people like to just have their own home, and that's a different decision. That's not really a financial decision. That's a comfort decision.
Yeah, my mind is blown. I'm telling you, like when y'all were talking right now, I thought, I don't know why, but timeshares popped in my head, and I was like, wait a second, this whole what was looked at as a drowning industry, in my opinion, could come back alive like tenfold, you know, like, so it's, and then you start to think about that, and then you spin off of that and think of other things. Yeah, the more I'm exposed to this, the more it's like wrapping around my brain and making sense, you know.
I love where your head's at, Crypt King. But I'm gonna pause it right there. And CB, welcome, man. Welcome. Sorry, we went off the rails there for a second.
All right, thank you, guys. Yeah, no, I'm also just thinking out loud a little bit in terms of what this also could be valuable for, and I think it could be a game changer in for the economy in countries that have a lot of corruption. Because so I have a friend, for example, she's from Mozambique, and her mother has owned this house her whole life, and the government is literally just trying to like take it from her just because they kind of want it, or you know. And what happens in these countries is that investors want to just stay, far away from these countries, because the return on investment from your investments might like be really, really bad, because maybe half of the money you invested disappear in someone's pocket because of corruption, or you buy a property and then the government just, I don't know, takes it over. So basically my thought here is, if some countries that are really corrupt and they know it's a problem, they could, like nationwide, try to implement something where everybody gets a certificate that they really own their property via, RWAs, etc. which then could lead to people feeling more safe about going to these countries and buying land, buying property, because they would actually have this, this stamp of approval and stamp of kind of legitimacy organized by the government itself, right? So, yeah, and I think that's something that could be the case in many countries. I mean, I'm born in Brazil, and in Brazil, the currency in Brazil has fallen a lot during the last, 10, 15 years, just because there's, so much corruption. So yeah, just a few thoughts from me.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting, considering you get these like countries that investors don't trust due to the, let's say, corrupt legal systems or immature legal systems. But I do think blockchain will help that. But there's also something to keep in mind, that there's, no matter what happens, there's always an off-chain element to this. So if you just own, let's say it's not fractionalized, the real estate's not fractionalized, and your friend's mom owns an NFT that represents her deed to the property, and it's just one thing. God forbid, a gang or government officials, whatever, they can always threaten that person to transfer that deed in the real world, right? So it's we have to take into account that technology is not the answer to all things when it comes to problems, but it needs to be mixed with the application of the technology, the maturity of the ecosystem or industry, or where they are and the players involved, etc. However, that being said, to kind of play devil's advocate there, this technology will bring about a completely reformed path to accountability. And when you have accountability, you will have more transparency and less corruption in that regard. So I do think we're going to be moving towards what you said. I just think it's going to take a bit longer than the regular RWA space, where investors want to get into a mature market that has stable yields, that has fair courts, and that's where they can park their money first.
We're getting towards the end of the space here. Everyone, just to let everybody know, we're an hour over. We did have a great question from Leon up above. Will there be new types of insurance products that will be needed to cover the RWA industry? And I think I'm just going to say yes. Have you guys been talking to other people about that, Alex? Or Alex mainly? You're the one traveling around talking to everybody about this.
There are definitely, there's a whole host of different types of insurance products that this will bring. The low-hanging fruit, in my opinion, is insurance-linked securities. But that's not to cover the RWA industry. That's just tokenizing the security that reinsurance companies use to pull in liquidity for their underlying product. But in terms of insurance for covering the RWA industry, there will be, of course. When you buy a house, you get title insurance in case there's any problem with the house. Title insurance, I think, will actually go down a bit, because once you put that asset into the holding company, you're trading the shares of stock, not the deed is not moving hands in tokenized RWAs for real estate. So there might be. Again, this is like such a nascent industry that's coming up. So I do want to say yes, there will be, but I haven't seen anything so far. But I definitely think there should and will be, because imagine, what if, God forbid, the underlying deed actually isn't in the holding company, and so there will probably need to be insurance for that, or insurance for RWA dexes, or insurance for RWA OTC OTC desks. So there's going to be, or even insurance for RWA DeFi, or whatever form it may be. It's more of the overarching thing. I did speak to one company at a conference in Istanbul who's doing that. But it's more about smart contract security risk. So if they do your audit for your smart contracts, then they can offer you an insurance policy. But I want to say yes. I just haven't seen it come out yet. But I can't imagine a world where the insurance industry over assets doesn't change from this. This is so industry changing, it must adapt.
Which is amazing. If you really kind of think about it, and I will see what happens, but it kind of sounds like there'll be even new jobs created from this technology, right? If you kind new insurance companies, new different tech, different things here and there, which is also really cool when you think about it. I don't know if many people. It's not really a thought I ever had before, but it just popped in my head, and I thought that was really cool. That being said, if I think that's it for questions, Serial Apist. Kima down below, we answered a couple of your questions earlier in the space, but do not worry. Every space that I host, I provide timestamps for. So, and with 24 hours from now, you will have a list of timestamps with all the questions that were asked, and you'll be able to go through and just jump to the spot and and get your answer. You don't have to re-listen to the whole space trying to find it. So yeah, look forward to that, everybody, and with that being said, we will be back next week with Maven Monday at 5 p.m. UTC. In the meantime, we will also probably be announcing Mavryk's next space as well, the next AMA. So get ready for that and look forward to it.
Can you say where right now is the Commonwealth stuff to do right now? That's all like really
good reminder.
You know what I'm saying?
Commonwealth is still going. It is ending in a day and a half about. So get it done, guys. It ends March the 13th at 11 a.m. UTC. So make sure you guys get it done.
Let's go.
Amazing. Thank you, guys.
Where can you find links for that? Is that in the Mavryk Discord, Maven Discord? Like, where's the information posted about that? Just in case people haven't started it.
Yeah, we've shared a few different links on our Twitter. We'll have Theo post one in our info also.
Yeah, and I can post it below the space, so that way you can find it after listening. And if I would be interested if you got started now to see if you could get it all done. And yeah, we will help you guys through it. I'm in the Discord, basically 24/7. I'm always popping in there, seeing what's going on, making sure everybody's got their roles and can complete their tasks. So you can find me in there. And just keep an eye out for our next space announcement. And with that being said, thank you guys, everybody, from coming out. This has been an amazing conversation. If you want to, find me personally later tonight, I'll be joining Emily in her space. It's going to be amazing. So yeah, follow her, follow everybody on the speaker panel, and let's continue to learn about RWAs. Thank you, everybody, and you guys have a great night.
Thank you guys. Have a good night.
Have a great night, everyone.
Good night.
See you soon.